So we're going to get into the shin muscle. So technical term, tibialis anterior. This is a common area for runners. You get shin splints just along the bone in the front. So what we're going to do is work with a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, depending on your level of tolerance. We're going to slowly start to work in through these tissues. They are pretty tender, so just go easy on these. It's not too often we put a lot of direct pressure into these muscles, so it might take a little bit of time for you to become comfortable with the pressure. So be careful with these. It's a little intense, but we'll work through it. Just remember to breathe. So the best way for me personally is to start in a kneeling position. Now again, if it's difficult for you to get in a kneeling position, you can prop yourself up. So we could use some pillows, some pads. You could use your foam roller to kind of sit back on. But basically you're going to try to get into a kneeling position. And from that position, we're going to just use your hand to feel where your shin bone is. Now it's directly in the front, and there'll be a hard surface kind of on the inside of your shin, and then a soft surface on the outside. So what we want to do is try to find the edge of the bone and just work just off to the side of that. And the first point we're going to be is basically right beneath your knee, about 3 fingers down from the knee joint. You're going to place the ball right in that area. Now you could just start using your hand. And when we're using our hand for the ball work, there's 4 different directions we're going to go. So we're going to go up and down, side to side, make circles in one direction, circles in the other direction, and then twisting, kind of like you're turning a doorknob. So we're working that tissue with all those different directions just to mobilize that fascia. This is probably the best way to start working with this kind of tissue. If it's hard for you to sit in this position like I'm in, you could always just sit on your bottom, one leg crossed underneath, and just start to work through that tissue. So again, up and down, side to side, circle one way, circle the other way, and then twist like a doorknob. Now there might be 2 or 3 points up in that area, and it might be pretty tender. So when you find that tender point, you can sink in. And to do the shearing force for this, we're going to use movement of the foot. So usually what I like to do is I'll pin the tissue down, stretch down towards my foot, and then lift my toes up towards my knee. And there we're just going to breathe into that. Good. And release down. And then we can try the other direction. So it's starting with the foot up, we're going to pin the tissue down, pull up, and then point the foot down. So it's 2 different directions. And again, everybody's going to be a little bit different into where they feel that good hurt sensation, that 5 or 6 out of 10 on a pain scale. So make sure you're trying to work into that state, because that's where the magic happens. Here we go. Breathing. Excellent. And you can bring that down just above the ankle. Same thing right off to the side of the shin bone where it gets soft. You have a lot of tendons in this area. So it might be a little more tender than up by the knee, might be a little less, doesn't matter. So we can just scan the area, circles up and down, side to side, do the doorknob. Once you find that tender point, hang in there, and then we can add tension either up towards the knee or down towards the floor. So pointing or flexing the foot, seeking for that burning sensation. Wonderful. Again, you're just holding maybe 1 to 2 minutes. A lot of the times when you first start this, it might just be enough just to stimulate these tissues just a little bit, and they might still be pretty sore after doing that. All right, so when you're ready to go more pressure into this one, what we're going to do is place the ball under our shin, so right into that soft spot. We're not on the bone, we're just off to the side, and I'm going to apply pressure with my body weight. Now again, this is going to be a lot more intense than just using your hand. So you want to sink in, and I've got my foot pointed behind me, so I'm really stretching that tissue as I sink in, and it's already kind of creating that tensile force. Now from there I can roll to another point, scan side to side, pretty gnarly point there. I'm just going to sink in and breathe. Now it's common to feel referral patterns from this muscle down into the ankle. Totally normal. As long as it's not shooting, throbbing, it's all right. Just kind of breathe through it, and that pain should subside as you apply that direct pressure. And we'll slide up a little further, just behind the ankle. Excellent. Now, if you do have shin splints, this is a great mobility exercise for you, but it might be pretty intense. So the density of the ball is going to play a big role in how you progress therapeutically. So start soft with like tennis ball, racquetball, and then work your way up to something like the lacrosse ball. Perfect. And when you're done, just roll the ankle out a little bit, just get some mobility going in through that tissue. And you're good to go. Let's move on to the next part.